Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my great short stories series. Today we are going to finish our short story. We're on short story 38, My Daughter the Fox. So we began this short story in the other class. We're going to continue with the last two parts of the short story, and we will have a discussion, or I hope we'll have time to get to the discussion. I think we will. So, let's begin. First, a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking, I meant to say, so that we can keep the classroom nice and quiet. Tune in to the new words that you're learning when you are speaking so that I can correct you and give you feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. I'll get the story on screen, and we'll see if anyone shows up besides Daniel. I have a feeling Great Short Stories is coming to an end, Daniel, because unfortunately I can't have a class with just one person as much as I want to. Hopefully there'll be some new people. So let's go here. I've got the story open, and so far, if I'm not mistaken, we read the first 4 parts of the story.
Yes.
Yeah, we did, yeah. And I gave you some comprehension questions and also a few exercises to work on vocabulary, because I thought maybe it will be easier for people if you have some vocabulary work to do. So, did you have a chance to work on any of that? I don't know if you had time.
No, I'm just read
Okay.
another time from part 1 to part 4.
Okay, good. So let's do this then. Let's see how you would answer these questions. First is a little bit of a review, and then we'll finish the story today, and hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 other people in here as well. If not, we have to figure out what we're going to do about this, because I can't have a class with 1 person, unfortunately. I want to, but I can't do it. We have to figure it out. Maybe I can, I don't know, figure out, because a lot of the advanced students who used to be in the class aren't on Verbling anymore, so it's just you. So Yuki has disappeared. I don't know what happened to Yuki. And have you seen Yuki in other classes, by the way? Daniel?
Yeah, my computer was frozen.
Have you seen Yuki in any other classes?
No. From January.
Yeah, he's not here, I guess.
See him.
Okay, and Carmen used to be here a lot as well, but she's not on Verbling anymore. So, anyway, our regular group has broken up.
Yeah.
But now we have Mustafa.
Hello.
Hello, Mustafa. How are you?
I'm doing well. And you?
Excellent. And where are you from, Mustafa?
I'm from Egypt.
From Egypt. Okay, excellent. Well, this is our great short story class. As you can see, for some reason, no one's here today. I don't know why, but it's the 3 of us. So, this is our 3rd class with this story, Mustafa.
Yes.
So, we're going to read the rest of the story and talk about it. And maybe what we can do is maybe Daniel can give you a little bit of an introduction to the story. So what we're going to do is I put some comprehension questions for the first 4 parts of the story. It's not that long, but it's divided into parts. So here's the first page, and I'll give this to you if you don't have the link. Give me just a second, and I'll put the link in the chat window for you. So if you want to open that, you can now see it in the Verbling chat window. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
And I'll scroll down to the second page. You can see the title, My Daughter the Fox by Jackie Kay. This is a modern short story. Jackie Kay is a living author. And this is not written to learn English. This is written for native speakers. So it's a real story for real people. But to make it easier, we're reading it together. And I've given you some questions to help you see the major details of the story, to help you follow the story. Okay? So we're going to be on this part here. We're going to start here. The comprehension questions, yeah. And Daniel will talk about the comprehension questions, and then maybe we'll see how much of the story you understand, and then we'll read the rest of it. Okay?
Okay.
So when I click on that, it takes me to the bottom of page 9. And Daniel, let's talk through these questions, and then we'll see how much Mustafa understands, and then we'll continue.
Okay.
So, maybe before we even talk about it, maybe you could give a very short summary of what's happened in parts 1 and 4. 1 to 4, okay?
Okay.
What's the gist of the story?
Okay. It's very strange story. A human being mother give birth a fox.
Give birth to a fox.
Okay.
What does
To a fox.
His baby it's a
His?
fox.
His baby, Daniel? His?
Her
Baby.
her baby.
Her baby is a fox?
Yes.
So,
Maybe.
a human mother
Human
gives
mother, born
to
a fox.
Exactly. And you can
Yes.
see, I'll put some notes in the chat window too. A human mother gives birth to a fox. Is the story, Daniel, is the story told in a realistic way, or is it told like a fairy tale, in your opinion?
Like a really story.
Exactly, I think so too. The story is told in a modern and realistic way. As if you're reading a diary from someone. So it's not presented like a fantasy. This is not Lord of the Rings, where
Yeah.
this is like an everyday occurrence. And one more question, Daniel. Well, let's go to the comprehension questions. The narrator is the mother. Let me just ask Mustafa a quick question. In a story, if I say narrator, what does that mean? Have you heard that before? What is the narrator?
Narrator? The person who tells the story.
Exactly, the person who tells the
Who
story.
told the story.
Daniel, who's the narrator of this story?
The mother's fox.
The fox's mother,
The fox's mother. Okay.
not the mother's fox. The
Yeah,
fox's
yeah.
mother.
Fox's mother.
Excellent, that's true. So the fox's mother is the narrator of the story. Let's go to the first question. How does the narrator's mother react? How does the narrator's mother, in other words, the grandmother, how does the narrator's mother react to her granddaughter?
She said, "What's going on? Is it a joke?"
So she,
Her reaction is as staff of the hospital.
reaction is the same,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
as the hospital staff.
Fear.
They
I
are,
think Mustafa.
Hello.
yeah, you're back, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hang out.
Hangouts are, they're always failing all the time. The Hangouts need to be improved, but unfortunately, Google has to fix it. We can't fix it because it's their product. So the first answer Daniel said was the narrator's mother. Her reaction was the same as the hospital staff. In other words, Daniel, you said they were what?
Fear.
They were afraid.
Afraid.
Right.
Parenthood mean what?
Say again?
Parenthood.
Parenthood. Let's look at that question. Let's look at that. Does Anya's father acknowledge his parenthood? Parenthood means being.
Like human? Like what?
Yes, yes.
Being a parent.
Being. Yeah.
So what's adulthood?
What?
Adulthood.
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 What is
Being
adulthood?
Adult.
Being an adult, right. What is childhood?
Being a child.
That's it. So hood is always being something. But usually we talk about it with the stages of life. A childhood, adulthood. Guess what? What about teenager? Let's do one more. If you're a teenager, what do we have? This is a trick. Do we have teenagerhood? Do we have teenhood?
Teenager.
Does that exist? Have you heard that?
I think no.
No. What do we say?
Teenager.
We say, same word in Spanish, I think, adolescence.
Adolescence.
Adolescence. So we have childhood.
Adolescence.
Adolescence is an exception. We don't have teenhood. Doesn't exist. So we have childhood, then we have adolescence, then we have adulthood.
Could you please write
And-
adolescence
Say again?
in the chat book? Could you please write adolescence again in chat books?
No, because adolescence
Yeah,
is when
yes.
you're older. Childhood is when you're maybe 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and adolescence is 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's pre-adult.
Pre-adult.
Yeah, adolescence, pre-adult. Maybe 16 is a good age for adolescence. Okay, so let's look at that question.
This the last 16 in the last for adults.
No, up to 18. So maybe somewhere between, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, I don't know, somewhere in there. Depends on your maturity, too. But maybe 14 to 18 is a good period for adolescence, and before that is more or less childhood. 12 and 13 is in between. So let me look at that question. It says, does Anya's father... Daniel, who is Anya?
Fox's name.
Right. Fox is called Anya. Okay. Does Anya's father acknowledge his parenthood? In other words, does he admit that he is the father?
Yes. The narrator said he had given birth a fox.
But we're talking about the father, not the mother, right? Does the father admit that he's the father? Does he acknowledge it?
No.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Right. So the answer to question 2 is no. What's his reaction? Do you remember?
Yes, you're barking.
That's right. He says he has this expression. He says
The expression.
you're barking, meaning barking mad. Barking mad means completely crazy, like a dog howling at the moon. Arrgh! You're barking mad. Uh-oh, we lost Mustafa. Bye, Mustafa. Maybe he'll be back. I think he's having connection problems.
Yes.
Alright, well, hopefully he'll be back in a minute. How do other people react to Anya?
Always the same way. People are afraid.
Okay, so they are afraid.
Maybe the friends,
Mm-hmm.
mother's friends, try to understand, but it exceeds another problem with Anya.
They're afraid, but you're right. Some of them try to understand. Yes. Okay. Okay. Last. Yeah. Okay. Is Anya raised as a human child or as a baby fox in the story?
Could you please
Uh,
answer this question again?
Sorry, Mustafa.
Could
Say
you please,
again.
yes, could you please answer this question again?
Which
Is
question?
is Annie is Annie
Is Anya raised as a human child or a baby fox? That question?
yes, and the previous.
The previous.
Yes.
Okay.
This and the yeah.
So that's number 3. And I also wrote it in the chat window for you. Can you see what I wrote? How do other people react to Anya? They are afraid, they try to understand, but they don't understand, we should say. But they really can't understand. And we see that later in the story because they tell her to release the fox. Like, they can't understand that it's really her daughter. they tell her, don't they tell her to release it to the forest or something?
Sorry?
Doesn't someone tell her to let the fox go in the forest or something
Yes.
like that?
Yes.
So they really can't understand that this strange event happened. Okay? And Daniel, what about number 4?
Is Anya raised as a human child or as a baby fox? Is raised as a human child, but
Oh, move your mobile phone. So
but
she's raised as a human,
but her behavior is as baby fox.
yeah. So the mother, her behavior is
She don't like to sit on her wooden chair, and I don't know the
high chair,
high chair. Yes.
and also she attacks people. Remember? She attacks.
Yes.
She attacks people.
Yes.
Yeah.
People can hack her mother because Anya is jealous of.
Right. If you try to touch the mother, even if it's a friend, Anya, like any kind of a dog, could get, jealous or suspicious. So Anya will actually attack people if they come too close. She's very protective.
I think it's a human reaction too, because sometimes when I try to kiss my wife, my kids are a little bit jealous. I don't know. It's my dad. It's my mom.
How old are your kids?
5 and 2 years old.
5 and 2. And how do they act jealous?
They put between us.
They what? Say again?
They stay between us. They try to
Separate you?
separate. Yes.
Differentiate between us?
Sorry?
Differentiate between us?
No,
The
he was saying that they try to separate him and his wife. His kids try to separate them if they get too close. So maybe your kids are foxes.
Yeah, the little one, I call him Zorro, fox.
What's the word in Spanish?
Zorro.
Zorro?
Sí.
That's weird because in Portuguese it's raposo.
Raposo.
Yeah.
Raposo is what?
I live in Portugal, so I'm American, but I work in Portugal. In Portuguese, fox is raposo. And that's like a common name too. Senor Raposo. I think we know what Anya looks like. She looks like a fox. We talked a little bit about the behavior. I think we've actually gone through the questions pretty well, Daniel. So, why don't we start reading? Let's see if we can finish the story. And And then we'll see. And Mustafa, if there's any questions about what came before, just ask, okay? So Daniel, I'm going to take the first one because it's short. You take the second, and then Mustafa, you're going to continue after that. Here we go, part 5. London was full of foxes, roaming the streets at night. I was always losing sleep listening to the howls and the screams of my daughter's kind. What mother gives her daughters to the wilds? So a little bit earlier, someone suggested that she set her daughter free. She set the fox free. And she doesn't want to do that. It's her daughter. So now she's thinking about the streets of London. And she hears the sounds of foxes. What mother gives her daughter to the wilds? Eileen offered to drive us both to the north of Scotland and release her into Glen Strathfarrar, where she was convinced Anya would be safe and happy. The red deer and the red fox and the red hills. So I guess Eileen is a friend of hers. Okay, Daniel, take it away.
Okay. But I couldn't bring myself to even think of parting with my daughter. At night, it seemed we slept even closer.
We slept.
Slept even closer. Her fur keeping me warm. She slept now with her head on the pillow, her paw on my shoulder. She liked to get buried under the covers with me. It was strange, but part of her wanted to do everything the same way I did. Sleep under covers, eat what I ate, go where I went, run when I ran, walk when I walked, and part of her wanted to do everything her way. Eat from wherever she could snatch in the street or in the woods. She was lazy. She never really put herself out to hunt for food. She schemes what came her way out.
She scavenged.
Scavenged.
By the way, I'm going to put links to the difficult words, so you'll see those as I put them there. And you just click on them if you want to see the definition. I'm going to put one for scavenged right now.
To dig, no?
To?
Dig.
Not exactly, because you could scavenge without digging. But let's take a quick look. Give me just a second, and I'll open this up in the background. I'm not going to do this for every word, but just as an example. If you see a link, or if you want to put a link, you can do it with the Research tab. All I did was this. I double-click a word, right-click, I put Research, and then you can see I chose this dictionary.com because it's a really good dictionary. When you scavenge, you pick through discarded things. Anything that someone throws away is discarded.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. She scavenged.
Okay. She scavenged what came her way out of love of scavenging.
Good.
I think it certainly wasn't genuine hunger. She was well fed. I had to stop her going through my neighbor's bin for the remains of their Sunday dinner.
What's a bin?
A trash basket. Trash
basket.
Trash basket.
Yeah. So I'm going to make a little note here that bin equals, not min, sorry. Bin equals trash basket or trash can in UK English. So in American English, we don't say bin. No one will know what you mean. We say the trash. All right, so I'll try to make comments like that in the story to help you. Sorry, go ahead, Daniel.
My neighbors being for the remains or their Sunday dinner. Things like that could embarrass me more than anything. I didn't mind her eating a worm from our garden, or a beetle. Once she spotted the tiny movement of a wild rabbit's ear twitching in our garden. That was enough for Anya. She chased the rabbit, killed it, brought it back and buried it, saving it for a hungry day. It thrilled me when she was a fox like other foxes, when I could see her origin so clearly. Anya had more in common with a coyote, or a gray wolf, or a wild dog than she had with me. The day she buried the rabbit was one of the proudest moments in my life.
Wow. Let's talk about this before we move on. I'm going to make a question for you on the right side. Why, I should say, why was this a proud moment? What do you think? Let's get your opinions. Why do you think this was a proud moment for her, for the mother?
She raised. Her daughter is raised.
Is
Is raised.
raised. You mean growing up?
Growing.
Yeah. Okay. That could be. What do you think, Daniel? Do you agree?
I think she's proud because at the beginning Anya don't hunt.
Wait,
It's lazy.
In the past. Don't
Didn't
miss the
didn't
present. Yeah, didn't hunt.
didn't
Okay.
hunt. She's lazy.
She was
Uh,
lazy.
she was lazy, and suddenly he now he no, she knows how to hunt.
Okay. So, and it seems I agree with both of you. On one hand, she's growing up. On the other hand, she's changing her behavior. And also, I think there's something else here too. I think the mother, she sees her daughter becoming an individual. Like, okay, she's acting like a fox, but she's still acting like she's not helpless and sort of, when you're a baby, do you even have a personality?
Yeah.
Well, it takes time. So somehow she's becoming an individual. I
I
feel like
agree.
that's part of it, somehow.
Yes, you're right.
But it's ironic because she's becoming an individual, but not a human. So she's like, I think that's what's the amazing thing about the story. She feels all the human emotions, but the irony is that it's not human. Irony. You know what I mean by irony? This is a hard word to define, by the way.
Yes.
Irony.
Ironic.
In Spanish,
Ironic.
but the problem is in Spanish it doesn't have exactly the same meaning. But, I mean, it's got a different meaning. It can have a different meaning than English. So this is what I mean.
Irony.
Irony. Let's see what Google says. Google says sarcasm, but see, that's the problem. In Spanish, irony and sarcasm are like the same, and in English, it's not exactly true. That's the problem. It's a slightly different meaning. It can be sarcastic, but usually it means that it's somehow there's an opposite going on. Here it says the expression of one's meaning by using language that normally signifies the opposite, typically for humorous effect. So somehow you're saying something that is the opposite to be more clear about the truth. It's kind of a weird concept, but it doesn't always mean sarcasm. And I think in Spanish and Portuguese, it really means sarcasm. So anyway, I just think there's a slight difference there. Anyway, that's the irony. To get at the truth of how a mother feels, how we human beings feel about children, the irony is that this is not a human baby. So it adds this special dimension to the story, at least I think. My theory. All right, Mustafa, why don't you take the
Yes.
next one for us?
Okay. But I had never had company like her my whole life long. With any, I felt like there were two lives now. The one before I had her and the one after, and they seemed barely to connect. I don't feel like the same person. Even I was fourth when I had Annie, so I'd already lived a lot of my life. All sorts of things that had matters before I had her didn't matter anymore. I wasn't I wasn't so interested in my hair, my weight, clothes, going out to parties, plays, restaurants, uh, pubs didn't bother me. I didn't feel like I was missing anything, nor did I feel ambitious anymore. It all seemed stupid, wanting to be better than the others in the same ring. Shallow, pointless. I could I called in at work and expect and extended my maternity maternity
Maternity.
maternity maternity leave for an extra 3 months. The thought of the office worried me rigid. It was
Rigid.
any rigid. It was any who held all of my interest.
So, how old is the narrator, Mustafa? How
Uh,
old do you think she is?
uh, I add one after.
How old is she? Is she young? Is she old?
She's young.
Is she?
40.
She's not that young. Look, over here.
Yeah,
I was 40 when I
40.
had
Yeah,
Anya. So
yeah,
she's not young.
yeah.
I know
She's
this
40.
because that's my age too.
I think that you are talking about the Anya.
No, I meant the narrator. The
Yeah.
narrator.
Okay. Sorry.
So she's not young. Uh, how does Anya change the way she interacts with other people? Based on what you just read, what's the change that the narrator goes through?
Uh,
In your own words. In other words, you're just kind of summarizing what you read. In your own words, what's the change that the narrator goes through now that she's had a daughter? Is that clear?
yeah.
So, what do you think?
Yeah. It was interested for her.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
yeah.
But
In
does
her
she
hair,
change?
change her hair and weight and clothes and going parties, plays, restaurants, doing what other people do. Because she has Anya, she go away to keep her daughter.
Okay, so the change is she lost her interest in these things.
Missing everything.
Yeah. Does she feel like she's missing it, or does she not care? Does she care about parties and pubs now? Does she care about her appearance now?
Uh, no, now
No.
no.
Right. No.
Feel
All the
ambitious.
all of that important stuff is not important anymore. Only her daughter is important.
Yeah.
And she's not young. So she's not when she was 20, maybe parties and pubs were important. Now also she's changed. So it's interesting. We can imagine 40 is not really the age to have a child. So
It's a
it
middle
was
age.
yes, it was probably a bit of a surprise for her. All right. I'm going to do the next one. At home, alone, I'd play my favorite pieces of music to her and dance around the room. I'd play her Mozart's piano concertos. I'd play her Chopin. I'd play Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. Joni Mitchell was Anna's favorite. I'd hold her close and dance. Do eyes you want to dance with me, baby? Well, come on. So this is like Joni Mitchell songs. Anya's eyes would light up, and she'd lick my face. That's not usually what
Like a
your
dog.
kids do. Like a dog.
Like a
All I
dog.
really, really want our love to do is to bring out the best in me and you too. I sang along. I had a high voice and Anya loved it when I sang, especially folk songs. Sometimes I'd sing her to sleep. Other times I'd read her stories. I'd been collecting stories about foxes. My best friend Eileen had bought Anya Brer Rabbit. No fox ever came off too well in these tales or stories. "Oh, your kind are a deceptive and devious lot," I'd say, stroking her puffed-out chest and reading her another Brer Rabbit tale. She loved her chest being stroked. She'd roll over on her back, and she'd put both sets of paws in the air. Do you think that, Daniel, do you think that she understood the stories? Do you think that Anya understood what her mother was saying?
Mm,
Yeah.
no.
Why not? What do you think was going on?
mm, mm,
Was Anya enjoying their time together?
yes,
Of course.
she
Did
likes music and
she like,
dance.
but if she doesn't understand the story, I have the feeling too that she doesn't really understand what's being said. Well, what is the connection? What is she
I
enjoying?
think Anya, she, her mother happy, and she's happy too.
Because why? Why is she happy?
Because when her mother is singing or dancing, is smiling. I think it's a very good time. Okay, because they are alone. Uh, there isn't anyone around them. Uh, her mother is only for her
Ah,
in this
okay, could
moment.
be. Yeah, it could be. She's giving all of her attention
Yes.
to Anya, and
She dedicate her time for her daughter.
yeah. So the interesting thing here is that she's doing all the things you do with a human, but her daughter.
I'm checking in this story. In
Uh-huh,
this story, is the same in human being, in
exactly.
child. They always try to ask, uh, pay attention on them
Right.
all the
So
time.
so the
Papa, papa, ta,
right.
papa, ta.
So the daughter is just reacting to the attention.
Yes.
Makes me wonder, did she really have a fox as a daughter? In the story earlier we saw that she actually gave birth in a hospital to a fox. But it makes me wonder, is the narrator a reliable narrator? When I say reliable, I mean, can we trust her narration? Can we trust her storytelling? Or is the narrator crazy? Because I'm starting to wonder, did she really have a fox? Or did she find a fox? And she's 40 years old, she doesn't have children, and she
She's dealing
probably.
with her as a human being.
Yes, but
I
I'm
have.
wonder I'm wondering if maybe the real story is there's nothing in the story that makes me think this, but just me as a human being, I'm starting to think maybe she wanted a daughter so badly that she went crazy. She found the fox and thought it was her daughter, and everyone is reacting. Everyone else is normal, and she's the one who's crazy. She goes to the hospital
No,
with the fox.
no one think that this is her daughter.
No one thinks it but her, exactly. So it makes me wonder if maybe she's just crazy.
They
By the
think
way,
that she find this in the street.
I'm starting to think so, yes. Just a feeling. But anyway, there's nothing in the story to make me think that. It's just my own theory. Okay, so Daniel, take it away. Part 6.
But then I finally did have to go back to work. I left Anya alone in the house while I sat at my computer answering emails, shipping coffee. When I came home the first time, the wooden legs of the kitchen chairs were chewy right through. The paint on the kitchen door was striped with claw marks. I had to empty the room of everything that could be damaged, carrying the chairs through to the living room, moving the wooden table, putting my chair with cookery books in the hall. I put newspaper on the floor. I left Anya an old shoe to chew. I knew that no nursery would take her, no childminder. I couldn't bring myself to find a dog walker. Anya, Anya was not a dog. It seemed,
Babysitter.
it seemed
A
so unfair.
fox sitter. You have to find a fox sitter.
Dog sitter.
I was left to cope with all the problems completely on my own. I had to use my own resource, my own imagination. I left her an old jumper of mine for the comfort of my smell while I was out working, knowing that it would be chewed and s-
Shredded.
shredded by the time I came home.
What's a jumper?
Jumper.
Do you know?
Jacket.
Not exactly a jacket. Almost.
For sport.
Let's see if I can. Don't look at
Blanket.
it. Not a blanket. So
Yes, a shoe for work on house at home.
no, it's not
No?
a shoe either. A jumper is British English. We in America we say sweater.
Ah,
Sweater.
sweater. Okay.
So actually, I'll show you something because I'm wearing one. Look, I'm wearing a big jumper and I'm wearing a little jumper. Two jumpers, right?
Okay.
But that's British English. So we say in American English we say sweater. All right, keep going, Daniel.
When I tried to tell my colleagues about Anya's antics, they would clam up and look uncomfortable, exchanging awk- awkward,
Awkward.
awkward looks with each other when they thought I wasn't looking. It made me angry, lonely.
Yeah, the jerks.
The
What's the
W
problem?
the W
Sorry?
in awkward is silent.
The W is pronounced like a U, so aw,
You.
as if
Awkward.
it's AUK, awk, awk. So we don't say all what word because it's too difficult.
Awkward.
But imagine
Awkward.
spelled with a U. Imagine spelled like
Yeah.
awkward.
Awkward.
Right. That's it. So it's a strange word because it's not spelled normally, but it's how we spell it. All right. So she doesn't get a. She can't find a babysitter, but she has to work on her own to figure out how to raise her daughter and how to care for her when she's at work. Okay, Mustafa, keep going.
Yes. Sometimes it felt as if there was only Anya and me in the world. Nobody else mattered really. On Sunday, I'd take her out to Ebbing Forest, and she'd make me run wild with her, in and out of pine trees, jumping over fallen trees, chasing rabbits. The wind,
The wind?
the wind, yeah. The wind flew through my hair, and I felt this accentual. What?
Ecstatically.
Again?
Ecstatically.
Ecstatically happy. I had to curb the impulse to rip off my cloak and run with Anya naked through the woods. My sense of smell grew stronger over those Sundays. I'd stand and sniff whether Anya was sniffing, pointing my head in the same direction. I grew to know when a rabbit was near. I never felt closer to her than out in the forest running. But of course, fit as I was, fast I could never be as fast as Anya. She'd stop and look round for me and come running back.
I think this is an interesting paragraph because something changes. For the first time, For the first time, we have the narrator acting a little bit like a fox. At least that's what I think. So it seems like here we're getting an idea that it's not just, I don't know, something is changing maybe in the relationship here. Well, let's find out. Let's find a little more. We're actually almost done the story. I'll take the next one. I don't think anyone has ever taught me more about myself than Anya. Once, she growled at the postman. I smacked her wet nose. It felt awful. But 5 minutes later, she jumped right onto my lap and licked my face all over, desperate to be friends again. There's nothing like forgiveness. It makes you want to weep. I stroked her long, lustrous fur and nuzzled my head against hers, and we looked straight into each other's eyes, knowingly, for the longest time. I knew I wasn't able to forgive like Anya could. I just couldn't. I couldn't move on to the next moment like that. I had to go raking over the past. I couldn't forgive Anya's father for denying her, for making promises and breaking them like bones. Wow, that's a pretty powerful sentence. Breaking promises like bones. What does that tell you about how the narrator feels? What did you say? Yeah, go ahead.
She wants to make her daughters happy. She doing what she is sharing her happiness with her daughter.
It's true, but why does that line say, I couldn't forgive Anya's father for denying her, for making promises and breaking them like bones. So why like bones?
She
What?
was betrayed.
She was what?
Betrayed.
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 Ah, what does that say about her feelings? So she feels betrayed by the father.
Yes.
It's interesting. Is the father a fox or is the father human?
Human.
Exactly. Do you see another irony here? The animals.
This is an irony.
Why? Why is it
How?
an irony?
Do you think that a human being born a fox?
Yeah, but what about this feeling of being betrayed? Daniel said the narrator feels betrayed. I think there's a certain irony there. Daniel, do you think there's an irony between the feeling of forgiveness between humans and animals? Do you think there's something that we can learn from it?
I think it's real when an animal is very close to you, like your cat or maybe a dog.
Mm-hmm.
If you abandoning him, or
We don't say him though, we say it because for animals.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Or you hit it, maybe.
Mhm.
It can't feel himself betrayed.
You cannot feel betrayal. Betrayal.
Betrayal.
Betrayal.
It can
So,
be betrayal.
so yeah, and I think that's the ironic part here, because the animals, or the animal in the story, is able to forgive. The human being capable of complex thought is not able to forgive. In other words, she's learning, just like being out of the forest, she learns to be a bit like a fox. The narrator learns to be a bit like a human. The narrator, the mother, realizes that she has a limitation that the daughter doesn't have. I think that's ironic. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's clear. Clear? Not clear.
Not clear.
Not clear. Can the narrator...
I understand your question, but I don't know the answer.
Can the narrator forgive the man The husband?
No,
Not the husband. The father.
no,
Can she forgive? No.
no.
Can the daughter forgive the fox?
Yes, yes.
There you go. That's the irony. That that an animal can be more like a human than a human can. I think that's what she's trying to say. The animal can be forgiveness is compassion. The animal has more compassion than the human. Or at least that's what we need to question. I think that's what the question is here. Uh, let's see. We're almost on the story. We have just a few minutes left. So let's read to the end, and then maybe we'll talk about this in the next class. We don't have time today, but let's keep reading. So Daniel, take
Mhm.
this one.
One morning, I woke up and looked out of the window. It was snowing. Soft, dreamy flakes of snow whirled and spiraled down to the ground.
Wait a second. World and spiraled.
Whirled and spiraled down to the ground. Already the earth was covered white, and the winter rose bushes had snow clinging to the stems. Everything was covered. I got up and went to get the milk. Paw footprints led up to our door. The foxes had been here again that night. They were driving me mad. I sensed they wanted to claim Anya as one of their own.
Mustafa,
Yes.
take this next one.
I fetched my daughter her breakfast, some fruit and some chicken. I could tell she wasn't herself. Her eyes looked dull and her ears weren't alert. She gave me a sad look that seemed to last an age. I wasn't sure what she was trying to tell me. She walked with her elegant beauty to the door and hit it twice with her paw. Then
Paul,
she looked Paul, Paul.
right?
Then she looked at me again. The saddest look you ever saw. Perhaps she had enough. Perhaps she wanted to run off with the dog fox that so often hung and hauled around our house.
There you go. I'll take this one. I couldn't actually imagine my life without her now. That was the problem. They never tell you about that either. How the hardest thing a mother has to do is give her child up. Let them go. Watch them run. I found myself in the middle of the night, looking through Anya's baby photograph album. There she was, only a few months, with a bottle of milk in her mouth. There she was out in the garden, with me holding her in front of the laburnum tree. There Anya's sweet red head popping out of the big pram. There was Anya at the back of the garden burying her first rabbit. There was Anya and I, looking into each other's eyes, smiling.
Alright.
Last one, Daniel, our last paragraph.
Much later that night, when we were both in bed, we heard them again. One of the most common sounds in London now, the conversation of the urban fox. Anya got up and stood at my bedroom window. She howled back. Soon 4 of them were out in the back garden, their bright red fur even more dramatic against the snow. I held my breath in when I looked at them. They looked strange and mysterious, different from Anya. They were stock still, lit up by the moonlight. I stared at them for a long time, and they stared back. I walked slowly through to the kitchen in my bare feet. I stood looking at the back door for some minutes. I pulled the top bolt and then the bottom one. I opened the door and I let her out into the night. Wow.
And that is the story
Yeah.
of my daughter, the fox. What do you think about that ending?
It's a normal ending. I think the nature is like that. A wild animal, or when you are adult, your parents should let you go.
Your parents should let you go.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
This is a cycle of life.
Say
This is a
again?
cycle. This is a cycle of life, ecosystem.
The cycle of life. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But
Ecosystem.
in this case, the life of the fox, it's now 15, 18 years, like a human being. Maybe in one, this story, it's in between 1 or 2 years, maybe.
right. So, or less. I don't know. Because how long does it take? Well, it probably takes about a year. Like, I guess a puppy to a dog takes about a year,
Yeah.
right? Something like that. So,
Hmm.
she went through the entire, well, maybe not a year. Yeah, you're right. Maybe 2 years. But she went through her entire adolescence in a very short period of time. I have a quote. If you go down to the discussion questions, maybe we don't have a lot of time, but I want to show you something. Maybe we can do this in the next class, okay? So the first one, read the following abstract from an interview with Jackie Kay. Jackie Kay is the author of the story, where she tells the readers about the situation when she was seriously misunderstood by her adopted mother. What do you think caused the misunderstanding? So you're going to read some of these discussion questions, and in the next class, we will start a new story, but we're going to try to take your discussion or your ideas from this, so you can start to think about some of the themes of the story. So here's one. Well, I don't want to get into it now. It's going to take too long. But anyway, we've got discussion questions at the end for you to think about. So you can think about those. You can even write your answers if you want. Show them to me. I'll correct them. I've got 3 tasks, all having to do with the vocabulary we've seen. Vocabulary about foxes and animals. So we've got animal sounds here. Idioms with foxes. Whoops. And the first part will introduce the idiom. The second part will let you use it. And then I've got another task there for animal sounds. After that, discussions. And look, that's her actual picture. See her?
Yes.
Nice fox, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice furry fox. So that's starting on page 14. And I've got a few comprehension questions there at the bottom too, so that you can go back over the details of the story. So let's do this, because we're going to have to stop at this point. Try the tasks on your own. I will try to, I don't know if I have the answers done, but if I do, I will paste them onto the document at the very last page. If not, I'll go over the answers with you in the next class on Tuesday. But go through the discussion questions and think about how you would answer, or you can actually write them out. If you want to write them out, show me the next class, and I can also correct them for you. And we'll use that to have our discussion about the story. Okay? So that will be the plan. And Mustafa, this class is every Tuesday and Thursday at this hour. Okay? So you have to keep the link, try the discussion questions on your own, and then next Tuesday we'll use that to have a conversation about what the story means, about how the language was used to express that meaning. And also, we'll try to do a little bit of work with some of the new vocabulary. All right, I'm going to stop the class here. I'm going to start our next class, which is my business class. And we are finishing our vocabulary section on how to talk about facts and figures and getting results in business. Okay? I'll be right back for that. Bye for now, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye for now.